What's going on YouTube? It's Teach back again with another video, and we have reached Super Bowl week, just days away now. I'm so pumped up to watch this game. Hopefully you all enjoy the game and this video, and if you do, hit that like button. It would help me and my channel out a ton. If you're new to the channel, want to see more football content and off-season content coverage, that's coming very soon. Be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. And of course, it's all about having a conversation down in the comment section. Give me your picks for the Super Bowl score prediction, Super Bowl MVP. Do you like the over? Do you like the under? Rams line? Do you like Bengals plus 4.5? Anything you can think of, let's talk about it down in the comment section. This is going to be a little bit different because there's a lot to talk about with this game. I'm going to do Bengals X Factors, you see on the screen now, Rams X Factors, and then you will have my prediction. So starting with the Bengals, I've said this a lot throughout the entire postseason pretty much. Don't get yourself behind the sticks by running on early downs. And you saw it a little bit early in the game against Kansas City. A lot of first down carries for Joe Mixon. He was averaging like less than 3 yards a carry on first down situations. And that is where you're going to find yourself in trouble, especially against a Rams team where if you find yourself 3rd and 10 against, Ramsey, Donald, Miller, especially with your offensive line, you're putting yourself in a suboptimal position to be able to get first downs and, obviously stay in this game. You need first downs to be able to get touchdowns, and touchdowns win the game. So don't do yourself any disservice, right? Don't fall behind in early down situations by running the football. I'm not saying don't run the football at all in this game. You still need to include Joe Mixon. That's a way to try to combat the fact you don't have a good offensive line. But, if I see, more than 50% of 1st and 10s start with, a handoff to Joe Mixon, I'm going to pull out my hair a little bit. Pick on Darius Williams. He's not had that good of a year. He was stellar a season ago. Not that good during the regular season. Not bad, but not to the same degree that he played in 2021. And then in the postseason, he's been kind of the weak link that teams have picked on. And, Jalen Ramsey is going to move around, right? He'll move to the slot. I could see 3rd down spots where it feels like a Tyler Boyd situation. Maybe that's where Ramsey is. And, Ramsey's physical enough to keep up with T. Higgins. And he's got some downfield speed, despite getting burned by Mike Evans a couple weeks ago. He's got the downfield speed to keep up with Jamar Chase, and he can obviously bump at the line, try to disrupt that route as well. But if Ramsey's not, on T. Higgins in specific, I really like the advantage that the Bengals might present themselves by having a big body, physical possession catch guy like Higgins churn 10, 15 yards out every time he's lined up against Darius Williams. Keep the sticks moving. So I think Darius Williams, given that his play has taken a dip this year, that's a focal point. If I'm the Bengals, Ramsey's going to move around. Find Darius Williams and attack that guy. Find ways to survive this offensive line. Now, I also put a note in here. I don't know how they do it, right? Because we'll talk about it once we get to the Rams. I mean, that is the note and the thing that's probably talked about the most leading up to the Super Bowl. Bengals have a terrible offensive line, basically outside of Jonah Williams, especially with Riley Reif getting hurt. And, that pass rush for the Rams is unbelievable. Miller's turning the clock back. Leonard Floyd's been stellar this year. And then Aaron Donald's the best player in football, perhaps. So, I don't know how they do it. But that said, Joe Burrow and the Bengals survived. Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans in the divisional round. They got past Chris Jones having a hell of a game. And the Chiefs last week. Or 2 weeks ago. I don't know how they do it. But, give a ton of credit to Zach Taylor. A lot of credit out to the wide receivers winning quick and Joe Burrow getting the football out quick, being a quick processor. He's actually the #1 graded Pro Football Focus a quarterback when it comes to defenses showing disguise, maybe starting too high and then rotating down to single or the other way around. That just speaks to what kind of, what he brings to you above the shoulders, right? So if he's able to get the ball out quick, read defenses that quick, that's a way to try to survive that pass, that offensive line. But otherwise, I have no idea what they can really structurally do to try to alleviate that weakness. And the final point, create turnovers or take advantages of the gimme Stafford will give you. No Jaquiski Tartt. You can't have that. This is the biggest game of the year. You can't drop a punt in center field, essentially. Or if Stafford comes to you and he's playing closer to what he was, maybe the wild card weekend against the Cardinals where the ball wasn't really put in his hands a whole lot, but he was making good decisions. He was getting the ball out quick, and he played a really high efficiency game. If that's the case, that's where you say, hey, Jesse Bates, you wanted the extension. You totally earned your money this postseason alone. Or, maybe Mike Hilton, bat a pass and you come away with a pick. And we'll talk about Kupp once we get to the Rams, and specifically on 3rd downs. And, maybe that's where, instead of it being a turnover, it's just 1 or 2 timely stops. Mike Hilton working against Kupp in the slot in those 3rd down situations. I anticipate this game being close, so maybe it's not turnovers. Both sides play it clean, and instead it's, you come up with 1 to 2 huge plays on third down. Mike Hilton gets a hand in, prevents the pass from getting a cut, whatever the case may be. But to me, if the Bengals can find a way to generate a turnover or two or take advantage of Stafford's, prone to mistake ability, then Cincinnati has a chance to really pull off this upset, which also I have to just take note of. This line should not be 4.5. What? There hasn't been a Super Bowl past 3 points, and I don't even know the exact how long it's been, but it's been a while. And even last year, right? The Chiefs were down 2 starting tackles and still favored, and it was less than 3 points, though. But I don't know how the Rams are favored by 4.5. Maybe that's home field advantage. Anyways, talking about the Rams, their X Factors, the other side of the coin, basically. If Matt Stafford plays a clean brand of football on Sunday, it's going to be tough to beat this team if you're a Bengals fan. Now, that said, Stafford, throughout his career, throughout this season, has been a little bit better in the postseason. He has always had an ability to just find a safety, chuck one at a linebacker. You don't know when it's coming, but it's just a roll the dice. It feels like it's just destined to happen once a game, at least. Take the Jaquiski Tartt play last week, where that was just out of nowhere. Nobody could have anticipated him being that far off, and somehow Tartt didn't come away with the pick. Not to continue to drag him down. The 49ers not playing this game. But if Stafford and McVay are dicing it up, and they've got a great game plan, and Stafford's being decisive, making his throws at the right time, it's going to be tough to try to slow down that Rams offense, because it's a machine in a lot of ways. Once it gets going, it's hard to slow down. What ultimately takes the wheels off the track a lot of times is Stafford with an untimely turnover. If he's able to avoid that, and the Bengals don't find an answer essentially and can't create one with a lot of talent on the back end, then the Rams are certainly in a good spot. Also wanted to get this quick point in. Lou and Arumo done a fantastic job, and one of the most underappreciated coordinators, I think, from the NFL this past regular season. And sometimes people who are really deep into the NFL, they're about a year ahead of the curve. It feels like we're starting to see that. He has done a fantastic job, and in specific, Anarumo's done a stellar job in-game adjustments, being a great tactician, and you saw it on display last week, dropping 8 into coverage pretty much throughout the entire second half and saying, hey, well, we'll rush 3. We're not getting a whole lot of pass rush. We'll just force Mahomes to hold the ball forever, and eventually someone will win, and that's how we'll get pressured. His ability to see a game play out before his eyes and then make the proper adjustment is, second to none, really, even for people in this game. He has done a stellar job all year, and really in the postseason, he's getting the credit he definitely deserves. Back to the Rams, though. OBJ, if he wins in his one-on-one chances, this team's tough to stop, and you saw that against San Francisco, right? Cooper Kupp had a lot of his production on third downs, and that's totally fine. Part of what makes him so hard to defend is when it was Robert Woods when he was healthy, and then OBJ basically serving as a pseudo replacement. When those guys are winning their one-on-ones and you can't just double-team Cooper Kupp nonstop, you have to pay respect to that other guy. And this goes for, Ben Skoronek's going to have, a catch or two, move the chains. No Tyler Higbee in specific. Skoronek's going to be pretty big. Van Jefferson might be called on in big spots. They make big plays. If those guys come through, you can't double-team Kupp. You have to be, you have to play it honest across the board. So OBJ, if he wins his one-on-one opportunities, makes it that much harder for, Cincy to slide Von Bell over top of, Chidobe Awuzie and try to cheat against Kupp, or more often than not, Kupp's going to be in the slot. So have Bell cheat towards the middle of the field with Mike Hilton lined up across from him. But if OBJ is playing like he did against the 49ers, again, it's going to be tough to slow down this Rams offense. And then switching sides of the ball for a moment, beat up on the Bengals' interior offensive line, right side of the offensive line. Like I said, once Reef went down, that entire right side's been pretty bad. Jackson Carman, DJ, it's all been bad on that side of the offensive line. And in specific, it's not that much better up the middle either. So whether it's Aaron Donald just being better than who he's lined up against, that's good enough. That, and I'd love to see, especially, your 3rd and 10 situations where you're just rushing for it. It's a nickel defense. You have Miller and Floyd as your rush DNs. I'd love to see some stunts. Stunts naturally generate some good pressure. They're a little bit longer to develop. But if you have, Leonard Floyd swimming inside or Von Miller stunning into the middle against Jackson Carman or whoever ends up being the starting right guard, that's a win for the Rams, right? And you get that pressure right in the face of Joe Burrow. I think that's one of the pathways for success on the defensive side. And you look at this game, right, and we've talked a lot about Stafford's decision-making, and it's a little funny to think about that. He's been in the league for, over 10 years now? You would almost look at this game and say, the second-year quarterback's the one you got to worry about, going wild or whatever. But it's really Stafford. Maybe that can change if, Donald, Miller, Floyd can get in the face of Burrow, and maybe he just sails one pass. Again, I think it's going to be a close game. One mistake might be the one that we all remember after Sunday. So that pressure up the middle, and also I think one of the things you could do is overload the right side of the offensive line. Leonard Floyd's big enough, play him at end, slide Donald over into right next to him, and have Miller rush right next to Floyd, and just put all three of those guys on the right side of the offensive line and force the Bengals to basically slide and have good pass protection. Force them to make that type of adjustment on the fly. Burrow, I think, smart enough to do it. Will the offensive line be able to come up and obviously give Burrow time to make the throw? That's an interesting storyline, and that's a different way where Miller, Floyd, Donald, they all have some flexibility with them. Obviously, they're all really good football players. So take advantage of that versatility and just give the Bengals troublesome, challenging looks to try to handle. And my last point, Kupp winning on third downs. He was stellar against the 49ers. Like 6 of his 8 catches came on third down. Almost like 80 yards or something. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he was a big part of why the Rams were able to make that comeback, especially late when they got behind, first, second downs, whatever the case may be. Kupp came through in big situations. If he's able to do that against Mike Hilton, you've heard me say it before, the Rams are going to be tough to stop. But again, this is going to be a close game in my eyes. Mike Hilton, if he gets 1 or 2 stops on third down against Kupp, that might be all that it takes, really, to ultimately pull off this upset. So I wanted to make it Kupp versus Hilton on third downs here. Didn't have enough space here, but that Mike Hilton, one of the best slot corners in football, versus Cooper Kupp, one of the best receivers, but he lives out of the slot. That is such an enticing matchup to watch, and especially on third downs, spots where you got to move the chains, you got to have it. And then I think this game's going to be a little slow to start, maybe 3 points total in the first quarter, and then we kind of simmer up towards a nice finale. Third and fourth quarter, basically the second half, I could have just said that. Kupp versus Hilton on third downs. That's where my focus is going to be at, unless this game bounces in a lot of different directions, and maybe I'm not looking at that. But we'll see once we get to Sunday. That's going to do it for my Super Bowl previews. Those are the X Factors. Here is my prediction. I'm going to go with the Rams, 24-21. I've been pretty open about it. I'm hoping that the Rams win this because it incentivizes teams to go all in, make a move for a guy like Von Miller, get the quarterback upgrade from Goff to Stafford. And you know what? Threw Stafford on the screen, call him my Super Bowl MVP. Why not? More often than not, it's a quarterback's award. Anyway, so that said, I do have the Rams winning. Bengals plus 4.5, I think, is a stellar bet. And then I'm leaning, as much as I went under here, I am leaning towards the over. I think it's going to be a slow start, though, so that's where I'm a little indecisive about it. Maybe the bet, if you're looking for one, is a good teaser. You move the Bengals out to 10.5, and then you move the over-under down to 42.5. You bet the over of that. I have a hard time thinking we don't see 43 points in this game, so that's one of the bets I've made. That's a teaser that I really like. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. But there you have it. I have the Rams taking home the Lombardi after Super Bowl 56. Tell me what you think down in the comment section. Who do you have winning? Do you like the spread, over, under, all that stuff? Who's your Super Bowl MVP? Give me your thoughts down in the comment section. Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video and my rambling. If you did, hit that like button. It would help me out a ton. If you're new to the channel and want to see more football content, just hit that big red subscribe button. That's going to do it for me. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, my name is Tej, and I'm signing off.